over to house 10 and monitor from the internet. From the internet. From the internet.
Video first? You guys decide his videos first?
Chicas. Yeah. We are hearing a lot of feedback. Or is that me?
We're all on mute. Where's the feedback coming from?
I think it is done feeding back. Maybe it was your shared sound. Yay, technology. Maybe it was your shared sound.
It was YouTube Live.
Yay. I'm glad we've captured this for everyone to view forever. It's transparency of process. Hi, Jack. I think somebody is trying to send you a message. I would check it.
Jack, are you gonna give us a cue when to start, when to finish?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that we wait just a little bit longer. We have 4 people, and
We are
Alyssa
live
has
on
her hand
YouTube.
raised, and she is allowed to speak.
Hey, Jack.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that everyone's still on tile on spotlight view, so maybe just to switch it so everyone can see both participants at the same time.
I don't remember how to do that.
I do believe you go to the upper right corner of your screen where it says view. And when you click view, you click over to gallery as opposed to speaker.
Oh, how's that looking now?
Looks good for me.
Lisa,
Okay.
is it fixed now?
We're gonna wait just one more minute before we make an introduction. Just a couple more people will be joining us, or wait for more people to be joining us, and then I will make an introduction. Thank you for being here, everybody. We're so happy to have you. Okay, let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hey Neighbor, an Artist Talk series. My name is Kelvin Stalvig. I'm the Director of Youth Programs and Artist Residencies at Beam Center. So I'm just gonna introduce you to our series. In response to the precarity and loss artists and cultural workers have experienced this year, the Trust for Governors Island, in collaboration with 19 organizations, chose to cancel their public-facing programs for the 2020 season and instead offer space to more than 100 New York-based artists. Hey Neighbor is an Artist Talk series organized by 4 of the organizations hosting residencies on the island: Beam Center, Foreheads, NARS Foundation, and Harvest Works. We are live streaming right here on Zoom every Saturday until October 24th from 3 to 5:50 p.m. and featuring 30 of the island's artists in residence. Artists are invited to discuss ideas and feelings that have surfaced while creating artwork in the midst of monumental turbulence. But before we go any further, we'd like to make a land acknowledgement and honor that prior to being renamed Governor's Island, this land was known as Pagonk and is part of the Lenape people's ancestral homeland despite violent displacement and genocide at the hands of settler colonialism. Today, Governor's Island is proof that creative community and resilient landscapes can flourish from that which was once a site of the American military-industrial complex. Families, friends, and strangers from every corner of the world gather here to picnic, learn how to ride bikes and roller skate, pick lavender, watch peregrine falcons hunt pigeons, and learn about oyster habitat restoration in the East River. In other words, Governor's Island exists in a sort of post-war future we might be hoping for. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jack Robinson, who is the co-founder of Foreheads, the organization that produces Portal Governor's Island. It's an art festival that welcomes more than 40,000 visitors to the island annually. Jack will introduce the artists we are currently joining. Jack will introduce the artists that are currently joining us from Beam Center's house on Governor's Island at 8 Nolan Park. Jack, take it away.
Hi, everyone. So today we have a packed lineup today. From NARS Foundation, we have Chica, and from Beam Center, we have Catherine Freer. That's our first presentation. That'll be followed by a Beam Center artist, Joseph Baker, with a Foreheads artist, Shiju Lee, and then Jonathan Gonzalez from Shandunkin, and Patrice Payne from Bronx Art Space. How it's set up is going to be, we'll introduce, then our administrators will get out of the way and just allow the artist to talk. We will be showing a video of each, and that's going to be followed by a Q&A from artist to artist. Some storytelling, some, loose structure, just talking. And so I'm going to start with the video by Chica first. Then right after that, it'll be Kate Freer's video up next. All right, guys. I'm going to disappear and play you a video. Oh. Thank you. So now I'll be playing Catherine Freer's video.
I am a multimedia artist, filmmaker, educator, and organizer. You know, I try to work on projects where the collaboration and the technology is exciting, no matter what the field is. I want to be challenged with the subject matter as well as the rigor to create the piece. I think that if we separate those two things, content and aesthetics from systems, we're losing out because there's so much beauty and elegance in creating systems and code that can support like the content and aesthetics, and they go so hand in hand. And it's not just for generative content, it's for, you know, everything, because we are creating a living, you know, organism. Basically, it gives me flexibility to shift things and paint. I want a space where I can like conjure things out of, where every like surface can be a surprising screen. When I was first dreaming about a collaboration with Beam Center, I wanted to expand upon a teaching tool I've used for years. Transform a structure composed of simple materials, aka cardboard boxes, into a projection sculpture. This exercise breaks down the preconceived notion about the inaccessibility of technology. The goal was to have an interactive area where participants could manipulate the surface in real time. Then, of course, the pandemic happened and everything changed. When the opportunity for the residency came about, I reimagined the installation, or really let it be my guide. I've been struck by the material itself and the ripple of consequences of the actions of humans to the earth and all living things. The path I'm on is exploring evolution of materials and impact. Trees into cardboard, into protest signs, plastic into mass, into trash. Everything is connected. I believe art is a tool for social change. It's the only way I know how to respond to the world around me.
Hey guys. So I'm going to jump back on just for a second and just to reintroduce you guys, because we have some new attendees in. We have Chica, and she is with Beam Center. No, sorry, I got that wrong. Chica is with NARS, and Catherine Freer is from Beam Center. And we're going to start our Q&A, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll get out of the way.
Chica, should we introduce ourselves first?
What? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. What did you just say? You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say, do you want to introduce yourself first, and then I can introduce myself?
Okay. My name is Chica. I am a media artist and educator and a researcher, and then a technology lover. And then I love light. Pretty much same as what probably, yeah.
I also love light. So hello, everyone. My name is Kate Freer. I use she, her pronouns. I am also zooming in from Lenapehoking. Specifically, thank you, Calvin, for sharing that the original name of this island, Governor's Island. You know, this space is also known as Governor's Island, also part of New York City, which is built on stolen lands of the Lene Lenape. So thrilled to be here and on this virtual space with you all. And I am a multimedia artist, a filmmaker, an educator, and an organizer, and a resident artist with Beam Center. And Chica and I actually know each other. We were paired up probably because we work in similar mediums, though our focus is very different. But this is almost the 2-year anniversary of a show that we both did at the New York Hall of Science.
That was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago. This pandemic makes everything is like, that free to walk around was like I don't know. It seems like different decade ago or something. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So, I mean, that specific installation that we were both part of was about pairing artists with scientists, but the both of us actually have a lot of, technology and science in our work. I'm wondering, Chika, could you talk a little bit about like your way into your work and your practice? Like where did that all spring from?
Okay, so I studied as a photography, and then photography took me to digital manipulation, which is I don't know what's happening. It's like screen's all black.
I just turned off
okay.
my video for 1 second.
Okay, all right. I got distracted. Sorry. So I studied the photography. Photography took me to a digital manipulation. Digital manipulation took me to graphic design. Graphic design took me to VJing, live visual performance. That took me projection mapping. Projection mapping took me LED mapping. And then I started doing interactive light installations. And then pandemic happened, and then got me think installation. I need a public to participate. Start working on AR technology while I'm here, so that they can interact their own time, on place, on time. So that's what I'm doing, and then that's where I came from. So what about you, Kate?
Oh, me. I was just going to go into another question, but I guess I get to talk also. I mean, it's funny, that actually is, my way into this kind of work is that I started my career as a documentary filmmaker, which is why I, love to do this whole interview space. But when and my family is actually in the film business, so I was growing up with that technology around me. And once I got to college, I made friends with a bunch of theater kids. And they said, hey, you make very good looking content. Do you want to put it in our live performance? And it blew my mind because it was the first time I was thinking about multimedia outside of a single screen and in live space. And in that time, I also started VJing, and I also started to play with interactive technology, very similarly to you, doing a lot of, just creative technology and interaction, because the immediacy of audience and participants, like affecting space, was so gratifying. And then, but I would also say that throughout this process, I worked mostly in live events, so mostly in theater and museum installations, and still do some documentary. My art practice very much lives at the intersection of art and science and social justice. So there's a very important focus for me on the state of the world, the political climate, but also just always the thread of pursuing justice for all and fighting against oppression, which is.
I thought.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
thought a combination was very interesting because we started as similar, you know,
Uh-oh.
my something quit. I don't know. I'm on it.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Okay. So I don't know you're here. Well, anyway, I kind of similar path, but in one point we separated. We started as a BJ, both, and we hung out the different group. You hung out the third people. I hung out the class or experimental sound artists, and then you know its interest is similar. We love visual art and the technologies, but it's like a medium is different. So I thought that was very interesting, like going to different paths. And also I like to know, like, how do you like about technologies, using your technology for part of your art practice? I love technologies, and then I feel like I'm learning new things every day through the technology advanced. And because technology advanced, my art form has been changing. What do you think about that part?
Yeah, I fully agree with you about that. And I mean, especially right now, the innovations that are being made in, you know, virtual technologies or the way that we engage virtually is exponential because so many of us have been forced online. But I think that if you're working in creative technology, you have to be like constantly aware of what is happening. And, you know, for me, technology is one of the many like brushes in and colors in my palette. If I'm, you know.
Do you think it's like a technology changed the way people perform in the theater? So do you think we see more like a Zoom theater acting things kind of going to be happen in the future, or like, is there anything happening already?
Oh yeah, there's so much.
Can you tell us
now.
tell us a little bit about, like, give us a little peek about the new technology based theater performance or something?
Well, I mean, I think there's just such an intense desire to connect and create right now. So basically, as soon as we were all forced to go online, people were figuring out how to use the technologies available to us to connect and to perform and to create. I mean, I just opened a show yesterday that is called American Dreams. That is, all of the actors are on Skype, and we're porting them into Zoom through NDI, and we're doing this like wild sound system to get audience interaction into Skype for them and them back into Zoom, and then processing all the video using Isadora.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so do all these like overlays and interactive elements. So it's exciting.
To control those, do you have to have a strong server? Fast server?
Yeah,
Or
so I
like-
mean, like so this issue of access, I think that you're bringing up is huge. So like while we're able to get content to many more audience members now, that is dependent on internet, that's dependent on having you know, electricity, which a number of indigenous communities don't have consistent access to those things. So that is an issue in access, again, to engaging, but then also the folks who are creating the content and the actors who are performing in it, you know, you need to have fast enough computers to be able to process it. You need to have strong enough internet to get it out there quickly, and all the other, you know, I happen to have an entire film studio, an entire live stream studio at my fingertips in my own home.
So you're lucky that
I'm
way,
lucky.
but not everybody has that same
Not everybody
setup
has
like you
that.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, but though for specifically the pandemic and your residency that you've been partaking in here, how do current events actually inform your practice and inform your work here?
Oh, it's totally changed the way I'm looking at things. Especially at the beginning of the residency, I didn't know what to do because the things I propose, I feel like I cannot do it or like feels not appropriate to do it. So like I have to look at the different ways. And then at the beginning, I just revisited my interests in the last 10 years, like why I wanted to pursue my art practice, and then what's my interest. So I just revisit and then read materials and read research, and then try to pinpoint my interest. Where's my current interest would be. So that actually took me to AR technologies. So I wanted to create something like invisible, visible things, invisible world. So that's also, I felt like it's connected to the world we live in right now, the pandemic.
I lost you for a second on the hold on.
Okay, you are frozen.
You are frozen too.
I am not sure we are online.
I think we
You
Oh,
guys
we're
are online,
back.
and your audio was still fine. So yeah,
great.
we didn't miss anything.
Can I ask something quick?
Mhm.
Because I see Kate's on my screen, but I don't see myself at all.
Oh,
Do you
that's
guys
funny.
see? Do you see me on the screen?
We see you.
Yeah. we see
Oh,
you.
okay. It's just my setup. I don't see myself at all. Okay. New challenge. Technology is always something always there to figure it
Technology.
out. Yeah. But actually, I like that puzzle.
Me too. It's like, I think that as an artist and a designer, it's like constant creative problem solving.
Yeah.
And so everything is an opportunity. Every barrier seems like an opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm curious also, I noticed in the video that you said these 5 pieces that you are working on. And are they, what am I trying to ask? Are they each a different element?
Yeah. Those are like, it's a 5 elements. And the Solace salad, it has like a 5 different shapes, and also based on the Chinese 5 elements. So I located all these different elements and object in a certain space based on the Chinese 5 elements. So every spot has a reason why I place it there. Yeah. Oh, you froze again. I'm not sure we are online.
You're frozen also. It's funny because you're just like on that side.
I
of the
wonder
house.
how to monitor these things. It's like you freeze and I froze. And
I
then-
bet there are also just people on the internet in the house as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's recording. I'm sure it's a recording, but I'm not sure people. And then all these disruptions, I don't know what we were talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, I love hearing about the 5 elements. I wonder, like, is that something that you explore a lot, or is that just coming from like this moment?
So at the beginning, I go with, so this called Go. Go means 5. 5 means 5 in Japanese. And then same pronunciation, also karmic connection networks, and then karma. So I always find meaning different. So those, so, and then I'm always interested in 5 elements. So I combine all this, and it does become my core concept. So all of my work is same concept, like shikaku and
Oh no, am I frozen also? Maybe. Okay, our audio, we're just gonna like lean into it, and that's great.
yeah, it's just screen disappears.
Ah.
So what about your work? So what are you
So the work that I'm doing here Is that what you were asking about? I lost you for a second.
Yeah.
So the work that I'm doing right now at the Beam Center House, AKA the Lighthouse Residency, which over here you can kind of see, it says "You are a light." You know, the Beam Center is a makerspace, and part of the mission is really about engaging with youth and like a teaching and learning space, which I really identify with. I think, you know, mentorship and mutual learning is like key to the future and to progress and to my own art practice. So when the pandemic happened and I wasn't able to create this live installation, I started to think about, you know, I started to like sit with the materials. I am using all of these cardboard boxes, and on my like journey to and from the island, thinking about how I wanted to utilize them, I just kept seeing just like trash all over the place. You know, old like masks, and really thinking about how these like single-use items are going to be like ending up in our trash, and the ways, you know, the actions that we're taking right now for our own personal safety are going to have repercussions even like beyond that, beyond this, on the environment. And we're already seeing, you know, the environment responding to human impact pretty drastically. So just being hyper aware of the interconnection of all these things. So in this particular installation, I've been sort of like tracing the thread of life through all things. Like I was saying in that video, you know, from trees to cardboard to protest signs. And then I'm going to be working and like, I guess, fleshing this idea out a little bit more with my creative partner, Tai Defoe, who actually has a residency with the American Indian Community House, which is a couple of houses down, and really exploring, you know, what environmental justice means right now.
Are you using any material from this island?
Yeah, I mean, we will be. I am. The cardboard boxes I'm using right now are from this very
or
extreme.
like you get some like something from this island, like they already have here, rocks or something. Like I don't know. It's just like plastic. There is just so many abandoned houses over there. I don't know what's inside, but it might be some like materials in there, or like I don't know.
I
It's
don't
just
know. That's a good idea. We, you know, I think it's more at least inspiration from the island and sort of the repurposing of spaces for new causes, or which also is what's happening with technology. I think it's in like the maker creative technology space is called creative misuse, where you take things that weren't particularly meant for one use and then force them into another use, you know, like what we do with sensors and things. Like the Xbox Connect is now like one of the crucial like tools for and various sensors like that were built for video games. And now we use them for other things, or like Nintendo controllers, and now it's like Zoom and Skype and Isadora, which were built for other types of interactions that we're now taking and folding into contemporary practice.
I brought it up because I was just walking around before this conversation start. There is a tent right around here, and they're recycling plastics, and they are asking people to bring a plastics, and then they're gonna process over there next year. And it was just like a plastic composting. And then they're making noodles for the 3D printings.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, so I thought like something you can connect it over there or something. This island is amazing. You just walk around and there's so many different like institutions and people doing something. So that's really inspiring.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point though, is in like all new pursuits, I believe that it's really important to, like, especially walking into a new space, to find out who is already doing that work.
Mhm.
And there are so many artists, you know, I know there's a house here that's called like Works on Water. I think they're maybe even participating in this series. But it's all artists that are working specifically with water and environmentalism. And then there's a house where you can actually like get your soil tested.
Oh.
So I think that's a great question, is like, who's already doing the work on the island, like, and how is that related, you know, to bring more information into my own practice as well, to just be inspired by the folks who are already doing the work here and maybe find possible connections and relationships. I am curious, you mentioned that a lot of your work is named, the names are taken from Japanese words. I'm curious how your own lived experience like translates to your own practice.
On practice, can you ask me again? I gotta cut off your.
Oh yeah, sure. I was wondering, since you were talking about how your a lot of your pieces have very specific titles, and that is like a through line, how your own lived experience informs your art practice.
My living practice, and so I'm a Japanese working in the practicing in the New York, but like originally I'm from there. So like no matter what I do, my original background comes out, and then that makes me feel comfortable. So, and then also like there's so many artists, but I don't know. It's just I feel more comfortable showing my identity combined together with my artwork. So I like the shapes, and then I like a Japanese art practice, and I just wanted to combine all together. And then that feels like that become myself. Yeah.
And you said I mean, we have this mutual love of light. Do you remember when that started for you, and like how?
I think that's always like the lights in the darkness, or moon, or like, you know, the beautiful light setting in the club, or like I don't know, excites me. Anything excites me, I wanted to put it together into my artwork. The sound is also very important. The light and the sound and the darkness. Yeah.
Well, and you were also spoke about connection and like connection to people, which is when we had a conversation yesterday about, you know, like theater can often be like removed unless you're specifically engaging an audience, but your work is really about a dialogue with the people who are interacting, which feels like right now in the middle of this pandemic, when we're being told to not be close to people, is hard. Like how does that feel?
I feel uncomfortable, actually. Yeah, I didn't realize, I haven't talked to a lot of, I isolated myself for a couple months at the beginning of pandemic. And then when, you know, we got okay to go out or talk to people, I had a hard time communicating. It took me like a couple weeks to adjust. It's okay to get back to normal, like talk to people. So I think that's what's happening to my artwork as well. I'm adjusting this pandemic and then like changing the way I approach people through new technologies.
Has anyone had can I, if I were to like walk around the island, are there QR codes that I can
Not
encounter?
yet. Actually, I was talking to Carol from Harvest Works. We might do some testing when they're having a show, open concert, maybe like October 31st. So I will give away showing the posting or some placing on the field in front of here, 5 different cue cards so they can try out.
Amazing. I have this very clear memory of you from when we were at New York Hall of Science, which is like so wonderful. I had an augmented reality app that was part of my installation. And I remember you came into the space with one of the iPads and you immediately started to hit all the buttons simultaneously and the app crashed. And I was like, of course, she's an interactive artist. She works in the same thing. She's doing the same thing that I do every time. Where you're like, I wonder if I can make this thing crash. I'm gonna find a bug.
It wasn't on purpose, I guess. I wanted to try and how things work. I think probably came from the curiosity.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I do the same thing also. I'm just like, oh, I wonder, but it's so helpful. That's why, like,
that's the part of being an artist.
You see artwork as like try to figure it out. Like, how she made this one? Like, I want to figure it out. Like, Yeah,
I think, that seems like another thread that we both have in common is just curiosity. Which I don't know. I like always.
It doesn't stop, right?
Oh,
keep on going.
No, I think when it comes to technology, when it comes to subject matter, for me, like curiosity is so key, and like, which is why like every piece or pursuit like is often based in a question, and whether that's a question of technology, whether that's a question of like freedom and justice, and where we are positioned in the world, current events. Like getting to know somebody, like the curiosity is like the central point of that.
Right. Where are we going? Where's the new technologies?
I know, where are we going? And there's so much unknown right now.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting time in a funny way. Because I feel like a lot of artists pushing themselves and create new style and a new way of expressing themselves. So I see more artwork coming out during this time. And then it's quite interesting seeing what other friends are doing.
I wonder, like, how has curiosity shown up for you over your residency here? And like, what have you been learning about yourself during this time?
I feel like this is like almost like going back to school time again. So I'm relearning like things I always wanted, learning things I always wanted to do and then never had a time. So this is a great time. And then more you do it, your question rise and then you try to find the answer. So that kept me going. So I don't know where I'm going, but just like I just keep on researching and then working on something comes out through this process, I believe. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, knowing where we're going. There's so much uncertainty, which again is just like an opportunity.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how innovation comes, is that like you get an idea for something and there might not be a clear path to making it happen.
Yeah,
So
I think it's already happening. I see a lot nice work coming out from this. Just like you told me your new shows, that's very exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting. And I know somebody asked in the question and answer, oh, there you go. Somebody already answered the question.
I
about where.
answered it, but if you
Thanks,
want to
Jack.
elaborate a little bit more,
Oh,
feel free. It was
yeah,
it was where the show is.
yeah. Where the American Dreams performance is with the Working Theater. Yeah, there's so much interesting work happening right now in the virtual space. I can't even, and I'm so curious about how the things that we're learning right now will translate. Like what do we take forward from this moment, from to when we're able to like gather in space safely in large numbers. You know, what parts of this are we going to take forward? Both with like engaging remotely, but also this, you know, huge reckoning that's happening in the world, and you know, just the focus on Black and Indigenous and people of color, how you know, these systems of oppression like play out on their bodies, and how you know, the different spaces like hold that and respond to that, and how we all walk forward.
You know, so the future is very uncertain.
You know, so the future is very uncertain.
Again, opportunity for progress.
Opportunity for progress.
Mm-hmm. We live in a very interesting time for sure.
This is true.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping for the rest of your time here on the island?
As I mentioned before, I just keep on trying new stuff and then see where it's going. It's let it happen. That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very rare. I mean, I know for myself, it's very rare to have space and time to just, you know, work on my own practice and not have people trying, like forcing like a product just to really be forced on product or process.
Mm-hmm.
What am I trying to say? Yeah, so I'm excited to have, especially as an island gets a little bit more quiet, just to like have a little bit more space for exploration.
It's beautiful right
reflection.
now. The trees are changing, colors are changing, leaves are changing. We started at like a beginning of summer, and then now it's like it's hitting a fall. So yeah.
Time of change.
Yeah.
Yeah, an evolution.
Highly recommend it. Coming to visit, just walk around, chill.
Yeah, it's so
It's
beautiful.
such a unique space, place. Yeah.
And yet so close.
Yeah. Yeah. Wish we can open the houses, but maybe next year.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of outdoor activities that are going to be happening over the next, you know, few weekends. There's like a porch stomp that's happening next weekend, which is also Indigenous Peoples Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you mentioned there's something happening on October 31st, so
Mm-hmm.
many opportunities to
Right here, yeah.
engage with this island, with this land.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think, I don't know, any questions, or this is about the time?
I really
Yeah.
like your guys' relationship to the boxes with the chart, with the cube being the earth and the 6 faces, 8 points, and 12 edges, and just the relationship to how many boxes Kate has around.
So many boxes, and we're in boxes right now. Yeah, thanks, Jack. Yeah, is there anything, Chica, how do we find you online, and how do we follow your work?
Oh, Instagram /Imajima. What about you?
So my own self, you can find me on Instagram, K8TEFREE. But also I work with this amazing collective of artists called All My Relations Collective. And we absolutely make art that is at the intersection of science, sacred knowledge, and, you know, the desire to like indigenize and decolonize practice. And we have a show that we're in the middle of residence for right now called Gishe Bagishe, Revolving Sky. And we developed what we started developing at New York College of Science. So it's very, very exciting things happening right now. That's it. Very much, you know, the Instagram, the Facebook, the website, all my relations collective. Yeah, and definitely excited to play with your app as you continue developing. I think the renderings are just gorgeous.
It's working now, but I need to know like how much people I can get, like server can hold. So that's another test.
Well, I'm always happy to play with it and try to break it if you want.
Yep.
Kate, we're just about wrapping up, but there's one more question left in the Q&A if you would like to.
Sure. Oh, I didn't even, great. The question from anonymous attendee is, Kate, can you talk a little bit more about your current work of shining light on the loss of life connected to COVID? Oh, so there's this large scale projection project right now that is projecting the numbers of COVID deaths on different Trump properties. So it's happening at the Trump International in DC and the Trump Park Avenue. And it's a collective effort. And it's just about the numbers. There's no attribution to who's doing it, but it's just about being very aware of where we are, just the facts, and accountability. And we're hoping to have, I'm hoping that there are more satellite efforts popping up. Yeah, but you can follow that on Instagram, and I will tell you what that handle is in one moment. It's PWMC 2020, which stands for Person, Woman, Man, Camera 2020. Yeah.
Thank you guys so very much for this. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you, everybody, for organizing this.
Yeah, of course, it's our pleasure. This is really, it's good. I have a little tear in my eye right now.
Oh.
Thank you, guys. All right, so I am going to let you guys sign off, and we're going to kind of reset up, and we'll be back in just 10 minutes. And we're going to have Foreheads artist Shiji Lee and Joseph Baker, who Joseph is so nice that he came in today and set up a kind of live for the island audience. So it's a bit more of a viewer experience if you're on Governor's Island. And yeah, thank you, Joseph, for doing that. It's really great. All right, so I am gonna just put everyone on hold for just a little bit, and we'll be right back. And hey, everyone, we just wanted to say we are working on the internet issues. We're going to have that cleared up, I believe, in the next couple of minutes. I hope so. There's a tech coming out to look at it, and we do apologize, but I think that the second two segments are going to go maybe a little bit technically better than this. So sorry about that. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Jack.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Joseph, thank you so much for doing all the tech, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm constantly running around like a PA.
I could imagine. I'm sorry I'm not there to help out.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. It's fun. It's exciting.
All right. So, hi, everyone. We are back with Joseph Baker. He is a resident with the Beam Center, and Shiji Lee. She is a resident with Foreheads. And I'm so happy you guys could make it. I really appreciate you guys coming out and doing being put on the spot like this for our benefit to learn more about your work. So I'm going to start with who wants to do the video first, and does anybody want to introduce the video? Does anybody need a second to talk about the video?
Yeah. I love Joe's video a lot. Maybe I love to introduce Joe's video a little.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Joe made amazing video with his friend, with his life, with a lot of the dance, the performance that I really loved. And yeah, I think his video gonna give us a view of his life. And yeah, a lot of fun in there.
Excellent. Calvin, would you like to chime in with anything?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for being here. And thank you to all of the artists that are making this possible. Without you, this series and the artist residency on Governor's Island just doesn't work. And I just wanted to give you, everyone, just a quick reminder that the Hey Neighbor Artist Talk series has been created by Foreheads, Harvest Works, NARS Foundation, and Beam Center. And it was a project that we just decided to create together.
It was awesome. Hi, I'm Joe Baker.
Cool. Okay, take it away, Jack. Let's see some videos.
Okay.
That's mine.
There we are.
Yeah. Here we go.
Two Christmas parties ago, Joe Baker hit me in the face while breakdancing. It was awesome.
Hi, I'm Joe Baker. Yeah, and I'm an artist who likes to dance. I move around a lot ever since I was young. You could always see me moving. I want to express that feeling that I get, which is really hard to describe in like other means. I enjoy making music. To love and be scared in the same way. Stare some more, lather and repeat. Tell my wife I love her very much. She knows! So I took a class at ITP, Interactive Telecommunications Program at NYU. They have a class called NIME, which is New Interfaces for Musical Expression. And I took this class based on a recommendation. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but as soon as I registered for this class, I was like, I want to make sounds from anything, like something non-traditional. in my experience and just experiment. How can I kind of recreate this form of expression that I've seen reproduced in band settings and the group settings? Like, how can I do something that is truly reflective of like my kind of creative spirit? You know, this sounds like whales. Another way to communicate to an audience rather than the standard, I stand up here and I talk to you, or I sing to you, or I dance for you. Really into exploring that more. Like, how can we connect more as human beings apart from the traditions that we are so used to? Just pure expression, man. Of everything that encompasses an artist's life, you're still downright a human being at the end. And I love to connect to people. The audience is so truly important to me, and having a sense of community, because I didn't grow up the way I am today without some type of influence from other people. I would be, I don't know what I would be without the influences I grew up with and the people around me. The friends that I've formed, and the relationships that went well and went poorly. I've learned through all of those, and I'm just kind of regurgitating that in my sense of understanding of life and living. So yeah, if you're watching, you are my audience, and you're just as important to me as my friends, because that's what gives me life.
Hey guys. So next, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there we are. Next, we have a video with Foreheads artist Shiju Lee, and you'll see how both of these artists will be the ones. And I said this last week, and I mean it again, are just breaking technology, like finding a way like to misuse things, just totally, you know, however you find it, just find it and break it and use it. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. 1 second.
That's okay. I know. I mean, yeah, I'm always learning the new technology. Yeah, I don't think I catch the pace. My name is Julie. I'm a kinetic installation artist. Currently, I'm in the Artist in Residency program at Foreheads. Now here is my studio in Governor Island. For my art practice, I'm interested in creating environments with movements and sounds. The different ideas of labor and energies, both from Western culture and Eastern culture, embodied on my works by juxtaposing and digital controlling the materials from our daily life. Let me show you some of my ongoing project in my studio. This is what I did last year after.
Hey guys, that was amazing. All right. So just to reiterate, just for the new people that might have just shown up, we have the Beam Center's Joe Baker and Forehead's Shiju Lee, and they're gonna talk about misusing technology.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of here.
About stuff. All right. So when I saw some of your artwork over on your studio in Governor's Island, as Jack mentioned, breaking something. So you took these computers and you made them unbalanced, and then you shoved a bunch of ping pong balls in them. And I think that's amazing. It's just you're trying to take such a smooth, elegant motion of the rotation of a fan, just like no. So it's like you made it drunk or something. It's like it doesn't properly operate in a specific purpose, but then it makes there's so much more that comes out of it after that. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that really kind of had an impact on me.
Yeah, like because I have been interested in the idea of balance and how to balance things, like you know, the different materials at the same time. Then I was like wondering, what if I don't balance it? What's gonna happen? You know, especially like I love play ping pong balls, so I found out the sound of the ping pong ball, like you use a ping pong pad, like the pad back play the kind of like the hit the ball back and forth. So it's kind of like a balance, but also unbalanced. So I was thinking, like, if I don't play the ping pong ball and with some other kinds of machine to play it, what's gonna happen? So the vibration, you know, on the fence, I make it like balanced. So it kind of create like kind of a human, you know, activity or behaviors kind of to play the ping pong ball. So make the sounds, make the movements, and also, you know, with the unbalanced and balanced like movements there. Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
Yeah, I like it. And I like how we were talking earlier. We were talking earlier about just trying to add this kind of human-like effect onto technology.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my like how to say, like interest on material. I mean, material is material, but if we make it like have like the human, you know, like, you know, characteristics, or like the like cuteness, or like have a like personality on the materials with some like control, or like just finding it in some way. I mean, that way we can have a lot of like renaissance, like to give viewers like a really direct, you know, access to our works. And we felt the material, and the material kind of felt us. So
yeah, that speaks to me like 1000%, because even my thesis last spring was called Resonance Frequency, and it was just about the vibrations that we emit and the things that are received back to us. Kind of I don't know how to make objects that you don't normally see as something you can like talk to or relate to. How do you make it kind of vibrate in a way that goes like, oh, I like that. You know, you're both kind of like vibrating but in the same wavelength. I don't know how to describe it.
I mean, you're like an expert, like dance, like make movements by your body, right? So you did a lot of like performance. I saw you in your video, like you did the performance, you did a lot of dance, and you like sing the songs. So I mean, yeah, that's very like a human activities, like very like active, and have interactions with someone like next to you. So I mean that I feel like in your works that definitely affect how you choose the material, how you want your piece to be like a performer, or like to make some like human like movements. Yeah, I totally got that part in your works.
Yes, I'm doing something right, I guess. It's like, I would say it's like if I were to walk in like a kitchen and I wanted to teach a microwave how to dance, how would I do that? And in what way can I make this kind of very domesticated, I put things in here, I hit a button and it cooks it and I take it out. How can I make that motion into something that's like has rhythm? And it is repetition. So I like to incorporate all those kind of musical elements, musicality and dance, and with everyday interactions, and kind of bleed the lines back and forth. So it's like you're not just dancing because you're moving your feet and your hands. It's like you can dance in other ways too, and other things can dance, like your refrigerator or your microwave. Very out there, but if I were to take apart a refrigerator and a microwave and put it back together, it would be a dancing machine. Yes.
Wow. Like, do you want your new machine to cool people down, or just hit them up?
Hate them up, yes. I will. I will. Yes. I'll just say yes to that. Yes, absolutely. Dancing, domestic equipment will be the name of my new band.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think you definitely have a band, right?
I had a band once in Japan, which rhymes kind of, but it was back in 2012, and I grew up, long story short, I grew up and I always wanted to be in a band. I was just like, I want to be in a band. I want to be those musicians that I see on MTV. I liked that kind of fame and glory, but I could never find a band. It was always people like, hey, let's play some music. And they were like, yeah, okay. And then I would never hear from them again. It's like when you're an artist, you're like, hey, let's collaborate. It's like, I really like the stuff that you do. Hey, Shuzu, let's collaborate. And then we're like, yes. And then it never happens. And I'm sure that happens to a lot of people. But that's what happened to me for like half my life. So I was in a band once and I got my share of band drama. And I was like, cool, I don't need this anymore. I wanted it to be like more of like take lead and make something, create something. And it just was never it wasn't traditional because I couldn't play guitar and play drums and move around the way that I wanted to. And I wasn't even that great at guitar. And I can't even play drums. Don't even watch me play drums.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to play drum. You can play.
Would you be in a band? What would you play if you were in a band? Anything. It could be a microwave.
Vocalist, I wanna say. Yeah, I love singing. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the most easy part for me. I tried to learn guitar. It was so hard. So I'm like, and I still have my baby Taylor guitar in my home. It's a beautiful the baby Taylor, the small guitar, like the tribal guitar. But yeah, I love music, and my husband play music, play guitar, So where I was singing, and while he was playing guitar, so it's like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm really interested in you mentioned that you live in Japan for how long? For a year?
I lived there for a year. Yeah. That's
Yeah, like what brought you to Japan? Yeah, because
yeah.
I'm Asian, I'm Chinese, so I'm not kind of interested in.
Yes, Asians. I'm half Filipino, so I love going back to our home country, as we call it, just east. But my sense, since I grew up in America and like suburbia, culture wasn't very embraced. It was very kind of whitewashed in where I was from. So I always kind of hid my Asian identity to fit in. And so when I was in college, you know, I watched a lot of like Japanese animation and like listened to their music growing up. And I thought it was like super cool. I was like, wouldn't it be cool just like go there and just like experience it? And I had the opportunity to study abroad in college. And my friend was like, yeah, let's go to Japan. We're gonna go to Vietnam first, but that was canceled. So like, yeah, let's go to Japan. And then he was like, just kidding, I'm gonna go to India. So I went to Japan by myself. And I didn't know any of the language or anyone. I was just like,
how did you survive there?
a lot of beer and cigarettes.
That helped. That definitely helped.
Because at the time, I was 20 years old. And so that was the legal drinking age in Japan and like Tokyo. So that was me being like, yes, I can finally do this. And I met so many people. I like to call it the Tokyo Underground, where I met a lot of musicians and like really kind of literal underground bars that just smelled like cigarettes and just was just weird music, but always a good time. And I loved it. I loved just being in that. I was very accepted, and the culture just kind of resonated with me. And I think this is going to be a thing that comes up in our conversation, that kind of resonating, something that makes us feel at home, like a baseline, some sort of support or foundation. Yeah.
So you mean the music and beer and maybe the cigarette kind of help you to get involved, like get used of the the country. I mean,
yeah,
help you survive.
It was and a lot of chocolate as well. Just like a lot of like things that kind of brought me back down, because I was in such of an alienating experience compared to what I grew up in. But that's also when I started to like kind of dance more publicly. I made some of my first few dance videos in Japan. I think I did one dance video. I couldn't find it for the video, but I was dancing on the subway train. And if you know anything about Japanese culture and people on a subway train, they'll just totally ignore you while you're just dancing around. Like, look at this silly American just dancing around. And I got one old lady looking at me, just being like, what is he doing? Giving me that stare. I was just having fun. I just wanted to be able to dance.
Nobody paused after you dancing?
No. The guy, I remember like one guy was just looking at his phone and I was coming towards him and he just kind of stepped to the side to let me move. He didn't even look up. He was just like so used to things happening. Because you know, when you're in a big city, your body just kind of moves on its own to avoid people and to like kind of go navigate through crowds. That's also another thing that I'm very intrigued with about like kind of movement of people as a whole, like in like a city environment. I think that's crazy. Like if you were to take like a really large satellite and track people like little ants, I think they'd be pretty cool pictures.
Yeah, that's interesting, because you mentioned like the dance, the performance and beer help you get involved with the culture, but in the subway, people are like trying to avoid to look at you, like by the movement as well. Like you were dancing and they were like, I'm not gonna look at you. So it's like, that's probably that kind of inspired me to do like another kind of work. You know, one movement like affecting you, and another one is kind of like rejecting you, like kind of balance. Like,
yeah, I love the whole idea of balance. It's a very,
Yeah,
when done right, it feels very satisfying because it's like complete. It's like whole. It's like if it's just one direction, it's just like a missile and it just kind of goes off, and then you never see it again. Then you feel like you lost something.
yeah.
Like the perpetual motion in a lot of your works. I noticed that a lot of rotational motion, just like patterns of things like ping pong balls, spherical, a lot of like the spinning motions of your installation work. It comes kind of through full circle, and you are building this kind of like ecosystem. And I'll tell you, like when I went into your studio here on the island, it's just like it felt like every piece was related. Every piece kind of grew from each other or was inspiring each other in some way. It really kind of your identity spoke through your work so well. And it's like, I mean, that's really cool because you know who you are as an artist. And when you know who you are as an artist, like your kind of work people are like, oh, I know who this person's work is because like it's so-and-so and they always do splatter art or they always do loud analog music, and like the things that you do is like, yeah, it's very, you have this kind of smooth delicacy, completeness and wholeness. Those are like the good adjectives I can give you of feelings. Yeah,
I guess so, but
yeah.
I mean, when I was doing my works, I don't want to call them works. I mean, they are like experiments in my studio. Like I don't have like a specific idea. Like I'm just doing something over there and trying to make things like together. Like make me feel better, or like have some like moments like satisfy me, or like. So yeah, but you mentioned you think all of them are kind of talk to each other, kind of inspire each other. That I think, yeah, maybe it's in my unconsciousness, like try kind of just doing whatever you are thinking in your mind, and let your mind control the space and kind of explore and do experiments. That's what I found in your studio as well. We just in your studio.
Yeah.
There's so many Arduino stuff, so many like digital control stuff, like fans, a lot of computer fans. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of another studio of mine. Yeah, so like experiments without like a very specific, direction, or like, I think that's the path, like an uncertain path, but I think it's gonna lead us to some works.
Yeah, what do we call the creative mess of an artist. I think it's I think, yeah, like you said, I think we do have like similar personality types when it comes to our artwork. And you just like you can see a lot about a person's character by the way their desk looks, their working desk. And just the fact that we have very similar working desks just means that we've dissected a lot of things, but left everything kind of half complete, like I'll get to you later or whatever. I think we got some questions though. I think they're popping up on the bottom.
Oh yeah, let's check that.
Let's check out the Q&A.
Oh, next. So the question is, how do you discover the elements in ping pong fans for installations? Yeah, that's a nice question. I mean, for the ping pong ball, I mean, in general, like Chinese is kind of good at play ping pong ball. We won a lot of champion on like different like Olympics game or whatever. So there is a very specific like training system in China. Like when you were very young, and if you like to play ping pong ball, you go to a team or like kind of after school training class, and you play ping pong a lot, and then you might go to the the professional team, like later go to the national team, and you play for the game, for the country. So it's kind of like a symbol for China. And also in 70s, Nixon, the previous president of America, uh, started to talk to China. I mean, the first open like the diploma to China was called like ping pong diplomacy. Like who like the two countries kind of built the relationship between like just start the relationship begin since the war too. So that's kind of another like reason for people to really think about what's the meaning of ping pong, at least for me. I mean, that kind of like um inspire like original inspiration. Also, I was in another residency in Colorado, and there was a ping pong ball, and I played the ping pong ball with the coordinator there every day. So that reminds me a lot of memory, kind of bring everything back to me while I was in China. So I'm kind of find my bring my identity or memory back. I'm a Chinese. I love play ping pong ball, and there's so many meaning behind the material, and I also love the song of like of the ping pong ball, like da da da. Like you even you heard the song, it's like bring you to the ping pong ball like game like immediately. So it's like all the thing like the characteristic of a ping pong ball, the history, and uh, the interactive between ping pong ball and the players kind of bring me to that element. So yeah, that's
Cool.
a long answer. Sorry.
No, you have a deep, story behind it, and you should say it. So, but we have another question. Yeah, we both project deep self-awareness around your work. When do you feel like you settled into this awareness? How do you do this? You answer this live. Okay. I'll start. My self-awareness. It was probably when people could see who I was through my work. That's when I knew that I was doing what I wanted. It was translating. It's like as a writer or as a painter, any type of expressional artist, is when you do something with intention and your audience receives that intention. It's like I say hi to you, you say hi back. Because if you just do something because you think it's cool or you're insecure with yourself or something like that, and someone comes along is like, hey, this is really cool, I thought it was like this, and you're like, and you just say yes because you don't want to have to explain it what you really meant. Yeah, it was when my intentions were clear and my audience received it. And that's a very hard thing to do as an artist, because a lot of people will be like, oh, it reminds me of this person's work, and you look at this person's work and you'd be like, that's not my work. They might use like similar materials or similar things, but it's like, that's not me. It's like that my identity is not in the other person's work, it's in my own work. When I can see myself in it and I can look at it, I'm like, yeah, this feels like me. Yeah, that's my self-awareness. I got that years ago. Let's just say years ago.
I mean, artists, our works is kind of like a mirror, like a reflection of artist. I mean, artists make the work, so the artwork is part of artists, and artists is kind of embodied in their works. So that's why what's the relationship, I think, between our works and the artist? It's really close to each other. It's like you saw the work and you saw the artist. So it's just like everything is really bound, and I feel like my personality, because I'm a kind of like a shy person. If you just met me without like drinking, I'm probably very shy and just if in the public space, like I'll just stay in the corner and like what else I'm gonna do. But if but in my artworks in my studio, I'm kind of can bring all the characteristics from my heart to kind of use a way to kind of push them into the movements or like the materials, like whatever. So it's like you are there, you are dancing, so the material is kind of part of me. So I kind of demand you are dancing and you are like making music, make sounds, and you are kind of roll back and forth. So yeah, I think that's kind of the the awareness of being an artist and making art. Yeah, I think the same way as your works. I can tell the many things from your works, like the characteristics. Yeah, your works.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very see, I mean, I was a very shy person too at one point in my life. I still am, I still am.
I think so.
I would say I started out as a very, very loud, energetic kid. And then as soon as I like started to meet more and more people and like go to school and stuff like that, I just got very self-conscious and very like worried about how I appeared to other people. And I think art was like a way, that's like a broad term. Art was a way of me to talk to other people without actually having to talk to them, because talking to people terrified me. So I would rather show them a piece of work that I did that they were just like, oh, I get it. This is this kind of person. This person's kind of weird, but kind of fun. And I didn't have to say anything. So that's like a blessing for me. If I can make something that can have its own conversation with people without me having to have a conversation with them, it's like I can save that energy. But I've gotten used to it.
Connection. Yeah, it's kind of like connection between you and the surrounding or the society. Like you don't have to be there, but your work's that for you. And I remember there is one sentence like my friends told me I was like relatable. She said, making art is kind of a bunch of like a broken artist or people trying to find another broken people to talk, but instead of being there, like instead of being there in person to talk to people, but your work is trying to find another group of people to kind of comfort or like talk or like have the relationship with each other. So I felt you mentioned the relation between people and our works. That definitely gave me a reminder for to that.
Yeah, we have another question too. I think this is from my brother, Jeff. Wow. I think that's my brother. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the stream. He asks, how do you imagine your audience perceive your work on a digital platform compared to real life? Is there a difference? Yeah. Oh yeah. Like what we're doing now, this is a digital audience and like a real life audience. And I feel like I'm in between two worlds right now. Because like, I'm talking to someone who's right next to me, but I can't see her in real life. I can only hear her and I can see her on a screen. But I know she's there. It definitely alters things a bit. You know, when things went remote, things went to Zoom and everything, nobody liked it. People from my school, they're just like, oh, we gotta do class on Zoom, because like you think about a Zoom conversation, everyone is staring directly at each other's faces, and that's not how people normally interact in a group. everyone can't see the front of people's faces. It's usually you sit in the back of class or you sit in the middle of class and you see people next to you on your left and right. You see the back of people's heads, and then you see whoever is up front, whoever is presenting. So your focus isn't, you're not being stared at by like 1,000 eyes. You're not like in the middle of a stadium. That would be the same thing. So I personally like in person still, but we're adapting. It'd be really cool to have the same, you know, energy transfer digitally, but I still think we're still working on that, making it more human as we try to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I haven't been using digital platform that a lot, but since we are like doing everything like digitally, I think it's like how to say, inventable to do that in the future. So yeah, I mean, it's like it's weird. It's like we are talking, we are having conversation, but we kind of don't, you know, we're I don't know, maybe just the quarantine gave us a lot of like depression for being isolated. And yeah, I love the idea like you are doing the things on the digital platform, but you are not talking to people and instead of the digital things. But mm, that's a hard question for me. I'm not the person who like interactive with screen. You know, I love the physically like interaction. That's what I did in my work. Like I have sensor, but it's like the sensor just make the interaction uh, between materials, but people have to go there, go to the physical space to see that. But now everything is like interactive with screen, like with Zoom, with you know, with virtual, uh, with everything is kind of virtual now. So I feel like that kind of changed people's life, and I'm kind of getting used to that. And yeah, that's hard for me, but I think you did a good job on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of forced into it from school. That's the only reason. If there wasn't a literal shutdown ordered, I would, you know, really try to fight against that. But it's like out of my hands at that point. So, yeah, like I said, totally agree with you. We're almost about out of time. So I don't know, any like last things we should like want to get out. Should we, I don't know, do a 2-minute dance routine here on the porch?
Yeah.
Good idea. We can like, you know, choreograph things from one side to another. Yeah, there you go. We just do 1, 2, 3, 4. We got some artist friends that do similar stuff to this. Nantini and Yugong. I'll pass on their info. Very cool artist too. But yeah, it's I guess this is the thank you part where I just thank you for all the organizations for making this happen. Beam Center, Foreheads, Harvest Works, NARS Foundation. Yes, is that the other one?
Thank you all.
Yeah, this has been like really cool. I know like everything since COVID happened, everything seems kind of like you throw things on the wall and you see what sticks. And you just keep trying until, you know, the whole wall is covered, I guess. So.
Yeah, but the residency in Foreheads now really saved my life. Yeah, it made me go out, and it made me got on the island, the beautiful island, like every day, almost not every day, like almost every day. So it's kind of really, you know, open my mind and open my, you know, break the kind of isolation of myself, like, and able to do the new words. So thanks for accepting us as a red artist and also doing this amazing, course interview series.
Thank you. Stick around. We got another interview, and every Saturday, come check it out. Every Saturday will be a little bit better than the last one because that's what we do. We keep improving. But thank you again. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much. And yeah, it was a very impactful talk. Just your tones of voices together, and it felt good to watch. It felt good to hear. Thank you both. Really appreciate it. And you know what? I don't know what kind of microwave you have, but my microwave does dance. Refrigerator to lefty. So thank you guys very much. I'm gonna play a little video in our break. We have another two artists coming right up in just a minute. We're gonna have Jonathan Gonzalez from Shandunkin and Patrice Payne from Bronx Art Space. So we're bringing kind of the four core organizations that we're organizing everything. We're inviting some other organizations from the island that are also doing residencies into the fold because, it's neighborly. And hey, neighbor. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll switch to a hold screen for a little bit, and then we'll be right back with a video and our next set of presenters. All right, I'm gonna play you a video in our waiting time right now while we get reset up. This is Forehead's last year, the last bit of like in-person programming we did. It's a 3-minute recap of Portal Governors Island from 2019. So enjoy. Oh. Hey, everyone. So yeah, there was just a recap of last year when we could all see each other and touch each other and be around things. Thank you for joining us for this remote program, and will be joined next very soon by Jonathan Gonzalez from Shandanken and Patrice Payne from Bronx Art Space, our next door neighbors on the island. While they get set up, we're just gonna just take a quick break and see each other very soon. Hey everyone, I'm back and I have a blazer on. I was just reminded that yes, I am indeed now wearing a blazer. You know, try to be classy, trying to do something, you know, professional. One more second, we're just about set, so hang in tight, and we'll be right back with you in just a little bit. Hey, everyone. All right, we're back. And I believe that we're just about ready. If Jonathan and Patrice could go live. Hey, Jonathan. I'm not hearing you.
Hello?
Look at that.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, totally.
Okay. Patrice, are you with us?
Yeah.
Crap. I'm sorry. I meant to hit unmute Patrice and I just muted you again because it happened just at that second. Can you? Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. Good.
Thank you guys for both making the time. We really appreciate it. So we're again, for the new people here, the new attendees here, we are doing a Q&A with Jonathan and Patrice. Jonathan is with Shandankin and Patrice is with Bronx Art Space. And I'm going to play you two videos, one of each of those, and then we're going to go into a Q&A back and forth between the two artists. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to include them in the Q&A tab or the comment tab, as you wish, or the chat tab. Either one, we're going to get them. So I'm going to, do you guys need a little introduction to the video? I think, Jonathan, you had said that you might want to do a quick introduction.
You got it. Yeah, no, I guess just to be brief, but Patrice, I don't know if you need to put anything in as an introduction as well for context. So the work that the video that is presented today, I hear a little feedback, is kind of a mashup of previous work, also some original sound and little bits of archival material that I've been working on both filmically and kind of collecting while being here on the island. So it's a mashup.
Nice. Patrice, would you like to say anything before we play your video?
I think the video is pretty self-explanatory. Just gives you a little overview of some of the work I've done over the past few years. And just sharing a little bit about my experience in art overall.
All right, then without further ado, we're going to go ahead and play the videos, and I'm going to duck out of here. Hey, so that was Jonathan Gonzalez's video. And next I'm going to play for you Patrice Payne's video.
Hi, my name is Patrice Payne, and I'm a visual artist and art teacher. Currently, my work focuses on themes associated with visibility, strength, and perseverance. These are just some of the characteristics that I want my figures or characters to embody. I gain inspiration from current events, popular culture, and my own familial history and heritage. I recently had the honor of contributing to the Black Lives Matter mural in Foley Square. I designed the imagery for the word matter, which was realized by the Task Crew and Thrive Collective. Each letter reflected an aspect of the Black experience from the past, present, and what we could look forward to in the future. These murals have become symbols of hope, awakening us to realize our full potential as people as we mobilize to achieve positive social change. As I continue to create, these ideas of visibility and what it means to truly feel empowered resurface in my work. As people view my work, I hope they can make this connection. Thank you for allowing me to share a little bit more about my practice.
Hi. Thank you, Patrice. And thanks for that little shout out at the end. That was really, that was very sweet of you. Just one more time for those who might be just joining. We have Jonathan Gonzalez from Shandankin and Patrice Payne from Bronx Art Space. And they're going to be discussing each other's work, a little bit of Q&A, a little bit of kind of unformatted back and forth. So I hope that you guys enjoy this, and I am gonna duck out of here and let you guys talk.
Hey, Patrice.
Hey, Jonathan.
That was great to see your work.
Yours too.
I've seen what I saw on your website like before meeting, just because I want to know like, you know, a little bit more, but it was great to hear you like show the breadth of everything that you've been working on, because I didn't know so much of the illustrations that you had. Also, like, from my opinion, just like beautiful science fiction, comic possibilities, like to build characters. Like also our first question, what superpower would you have? Like I saw so many super people just envisioned in your work too. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Like right now, while I'm here at the residency, I've been working on a few characters that kind of focus on the elements, and it's called the Four Seasons. And the idea behind it is like, it's kind of tapping into Afrofuturism a bit. There are also aspects of just like being one with nature. And I'm focusing on how to develop that storyline further and thinking about how it connects to the environment and climate change and things of that nature. But yeah, I do, I enjoy seeing your work as well. And I would like to learn more about the idea of like the body being present, or the Black body being present in your work, and how that kind of resonates with you and your audience as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. We could talk about this for like 40 weeks, but the short version for this conversation is yeah, I think as you saw, there's like compilations of things that I made with Super 8, which I'm interested in working with, and live performance, which was the first excerpt that happened at actual theater in April of 2018, and that's a recording of the live performance. And where the camera was positioned, people were standing in kind of a round next to the camera person. Some people walked in front, as you could see, but for the most part, people were behind it. And there are questions, yeah, for me about like, I've had a long career both as a performer, so someone who worked in other people's works and I was not the director, and also patterns in which I am a director or share directorship and there are performers. And in all of those experiences, it's been really helpful to figure out like what happens when we think about a Black body on stage, and how there is a real intensification of what it feels like to be visible, you know, as a, like, I think like the subject matter you're touching to, like, what is social progress, what is resistance, what is demonstration, what does it mean to matter? When you go on stage, those questions become very emphasized because you're being watched, and you know, other people say you're being consumed. So you really play, at least for me, it's a big question, and it's an urgent question, why make performance? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was a sick question. What about this? What superpower
Oh,
do you
right.
have, and why? Maybe that's a natural way to talk about your work too.
Yeah, I always wanted to teleport. Like that would be my superpower, just to be able to just at the snap of the fingers, just go somewhere else and be somewhere else, or even be someone else. You know, like just have that, just switch it up a bit. And the idea behind that is just like, I mean, I like to travel. I like, you know, being able to go places and engage in other people's cultures, and also the food, like try different foods. And also, I guess the idea about teleportation is also kind of like just being able to like get out your comfort zone. And I think that's something that I've been striving for like over the past few years. Like I'm a pretty timid person, and I've been like pushing myself like little steps here and there to get out of that realm of just like isolating myself and just focusing on my work, but being able to show that I can also have my voice be heard in a way. So yeah, that's the idea behind the work. That's behind my work as well, but behind the idea of why I would want that as a superpower, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and it's also really generous what you're saying about getting out of your comfort zone. I think about like Nightcrawler from the X-Men. Like there's early versions of the TV show that was on, I want to say like Pix 11. I'm a 90s baby, so I would have seen it around that time. But when he is first learning to teleport, he is always teleporting in places that he doesn't expect. Like he's trying to perfect the arrival, and he's not getting it. And he has to be courageous when he arrives in these random places and just kind of figure it out, like hang out, be around, find a place that feels safe before he gets to teleport again. So I think about that. Yeah, for me, I really loved, I always enjoyed like the idea of like telekinesis. I think there's something very like I've been a Jean Grey fan when I think about X-Men. I like the like Dark Phoenix, like kind of like overlap, like yin and yang. And I also think that there's something, I could maybe even like a little bit Matilda, I guess, but like there's something really interesting about being able to be in connection to other things around you, to feel like clairvoyance, I think, is also wrapped up with telekinesis too, like being a bit sensitive to like the things that you're talking about, like in your work, you're saying like, you know, like what's natural, what's around you, how can you feel it, like having those kind of spidey senses to be also able to lift things, I think is just to not have to put contact, to not deal with touch, but to deal with the space between each other. That as a kid, I used to always pretend that I could lift things with my mind. I thought it was a beautiful pastime, but yeah, that's me.
No, I like that actually. And I just think that like, I actually watched a video with like, what would happen if we were really to have superpowers, and it was like, it doesn't really add up. Like we can't really do it. Like we will suffer, but it's just like that imagination, having that ability to be, just tapping into your inner child is really important. And I guess my next question for you, which kind of segues into the idea of like inner child, or even an experience that you have come to as an adult. Can you describe a real life situation that inspired you?
Yeah, this question, we wrote it down ahead of time, people who are watching, but when you wrote this question, I was like, this is a deep question. I don't know if I know it yet, and I didn't plan it. I was like, we'll see what comes in real time. It was a good one, Patrice. Real life situation. I don't know. I think the reason that it's not one thing is because I feel like the work that the reason I want to be busy with making work, like the precarity of being an artist, the precarity of trying to fit it into your schedule in life, is because it very much so And I was saying this to my partner recently, and I feel like saying it with a few friends recently too, because of COVID, because of the stopping of culture, because you really have to think about what is really the thing you do every day with your art practice, because there is no cultural engine other than this opportunity right now that's telling you got a deadline. Those deadlines are really like flexible right now. I think about the fact that like my real life situation and the place to make things is like, it's like a communication. It's like umbilical cord. Like I get things out of my real life through speaking through the art that I can't say, for instance, in communication every day. But maybe to be more specific, I think I had an instance 2 years ago where I was recognizing the situation of being born and raised in New York City, and like more specifically dealing with, I grew up in Corona, Queens, and dealing with just like maybe becoming more visible also after coming back from I guess college, going away to college, coming back to home, looking around, seeing urban planning, recognizing that I was in a food desert, recognizing that there wasn't access on such a structural level that was causing, illnesses in my family, and just and one, learning like, okay, like part of the skill of being inside of your life is to learn how you're going to heal yourself and heal your family, whatever that word means. And then it started showing up and saying, like, I think like you're saying, like, what's the connection to my art practice and this like desire to figure out how to make this more visible, these structural violences of what it means to live in the city, what it means to get access, and how to make like life affirming connections in your artwork that try to solve or be a solvent or like do something that doesn't just dwell in that space but offers possibility. And so I started looking into farming, and the farming urban planning started dipping to urban farming and into my practice when I started thinking about like space and place and ecology. And that's just been kind of my stilo. I'm kind of rolling on that because there's so abundance to understand like how to get connected with that stuff. So I would ask you the same question, definitely.
Yeah, that's such an amazing response and an honest response. And I think for me, I think what's going on now, like really like hit me, like it allowed me to just slow down. And because being in New York, you have the tendency to just like be on that grind every single day. And I was just able to kind of like take a step back and just reflect. And that felt good, just being able to reflect and be able to just focus on things that were important to me, things that I felt were relevant, and just be able to figure out what I needed in my life to feel balanced, to feel grounded. And yeah, that is a tough question. I was pondering it myself over when I like jotted it down, and I was like, yeah, this is something that we will probably be answering for the rest of our lives, But yeah, I'll leave it at there, like, just to be able to slow down and pause and be able to just focus on those things that are important at the moment.
Someone just asked a question in the chat, and it says, does working on the island have a significant influence on your practices? And then also, Jonathan, was that a Governor's Island demolition? I'll answer the second one because it's quick. It was 1993, an archival footage of what was one of the buildings. I'm not sure what the building was used for, but there's a video, and it's on YouTube, it's widely circulated, but I started looking into, as I guess most residents have to, after taking a tour, I was like, whoa, like there's all this space I want to get into, I can't get into, which made me think about what space was here. And that video came up. So yeah, it exists. And then maybe Patrice, if you want to would you like to take the first response to this first question? Does that working on the island?
Yeah, it does work on the island. Actually, being here has been very calming. The times that I do get a chance to come over and just work, I feel at ease. I'm not gonna lie, the house is a little creepy, when I'm in there by myself. But I was
Talk
able
about
to I was able to feel more calm, like just like I was like, okay, I can get through this. Like I can utilize these next 3 hours, so focus on this. And I didn't feel like you don't feel like you're in New York being here. So it's just all of that noise is removed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree with all of that. I feel like it's very it's ominous, and it's also kind of like stupendous, like to be on an island and to feel like you get on that boat and separate yourself from all the noise, and then you're actually on the island. And I think that was part of also looking for the demolition video, that I was like, there's definitely ghosts here, and that is tied to so many other reasons that there should be ghosts who haunt an island like this. Yeah, more specifically, I guess, how has it affected my practice? I think I am thinking a lot about like, what is it? I am kind of motivated on the Governor's Island Archive. I don't know if you've seen this, Patrice, but the African American battalion that used to work here on the island. Did you know about this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I guess it kind of also is like a question that hovers around, like, you know, this like lapse in the archive, that's like this African American this period that's very well there's a picture even on the website for Governor's Island that shows it, but it's like after World War I, when black military cadets were not permitted to go to war, they were brought here to the island in order to work in the labor battalion, which I'm sure is like multiple kinds of maintenance, upkeep, and artillery that happened on this island, and they resided here. And, you know, just thinking about like the ways to sit inside of that, it makes this island also a really interesting place. It's had so many temporal, like just like short social lives, you know? Like there are also people who lived here who were moved out. There was a bowling alley. I think about all that, about all those things that are, like had a short life. Let's go to the next question, maybe.
Yeah.
What toy as a child do you wish you had? That was one that I offered. I think we can mix it up and go funny. You answer that one.
That was a good question. I actually, I used to keep a lot of stuffed animals and dolls in my room, and I used to line them up in a little section, like a little alcove that I had, and just have them kind of decorating the room. But I would say all of the ones that I remember the most, I had like a little like rag doll. It was a black rag doll, and I used to keep her like either on the bed, or near like the foot of the bed or around the bed somewhere, just as like a source of protection, because I just felt like anything like in the dark, I just felt like, you know, a little nervous about, you know, so yeah, I guess I was afraid of the dark, but it was just like something that was comforting, like, and I was able to like keep it by my side.
Yeah, it was a pendant. It was. Do you still have her? Do you still have that doll?
I don't know what became of her after moving. I don't know. I don't know what happened. She got lost in the transportation.
Rest in peace. Yeah, I had a stuffed. You remember Beanie Babies? When I had I had like one of those kind of medium-sized Beanie Babies that I used to, and I still actually have it. And it's like, it's a little stuffed elephant that I called Ellie the Elephant. And I think it made its way all the way through my child years as like my bedfellow, and up until now it just lives right on the shelf in my room, you know. It made it through having a dog. My dog tried to eat it so many times, but we made it through. So as a dog will.
Nice.
I have one more question, obviously. To what you were saying earlier, Patrice, actually before you asked me one, maybe, you were mentioning this time period also giving you like a sense of pause and clarity, if that's what I was hearing about, and also about production too. Like, maybe maybe you're not there yet, but what did you figure out, you know, in terms of saying, this is the way that I'm working, this is what I need to come to peace with, or, you know, Yeah. If
Yeah.
Have you made it to the other side?
I don't think I'm there yet. I'm still fighting that balance. But I am realizing that I'm realizing more and more where my passion lies. And that's in creating. And there are other facets that I enjoy about the arts field, but they're, you know, as far as like teaching and administration and things of that nature. But creating that's what gives me joy. That gives me life. Like that is the thing that drives me. It makes me want to continue. And also just looking at other people's works and finding that inspiration too is a key in helping you with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, how about you? Like, I don't know, like, as we talk about that and just like that idea of finding that balance, how do you feel in regards to that at the moment?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely taking notes to be kind. I think everybody should be kind with themselves, except for those who have deep work to be doing to undo harm. But I think like we all should be kind with ourselves as people who make creative work, I guess is the question.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least for most of the folks in my community that I talk to, you know, it's like the place of creativity is happening like in the day-to-day. It's like happening in the streets, it's happening in your conversations at work, it's happening like, you know, there's so much actually that it's like very hard to distill. So it's very hard to slow down yourself to do the work of processing and translating. You're just for me at least, I feel like I'm taking in quite a lot, which I think everyone I know also is. And I have to have faith also that it's like what comes of waiting and what comes of being present with that will surmount in like me being able to move into clearer forms of making. But for now, I guess let myself be, you know, I'm like, some things have to be improvisational, some things got to spill, some things got to be raw, some things are get overproduced, some things are nitpicky. I'm not letting myself dictate too much. And I sometimes hear that voice and then I'm like, not now, you know?
Yeah. There's another question.
Let's see.
Nicole, to both of you, I am an artist myself. It took a long time for my family to accept that fact. Have you experienced hurdles or support? Jonathan, you want to start us off first?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I guess it's a hard question. Definitely, like you will. I don't know, Nicole. I don't know what your practices or what you're up to, but I guess for myself, the process of choosing to make something and be labeled an artist, which I think that term could not be that term. It could be other terms, you know, like you were saying, a teacher. I think a teacher is an artist. You know, like I think we can let go of that term if we want to, or hold on to it if you like to. But it's definitely precarious, and I think that there's as we see in this moment, like not the financial base, the cultural economy has dropped, the gig economy has dropped, which makes the career obviously always precarious. But I think to get back to what Patrice was saying before, like what makes you do the thing that you do? Like what was a real life situation that inspires you to make work? So it's kind of like, is it a choice? No, in the end, it's not a choice. So, you know, and contending with your family, I guess that I'm always a firm believer between the space of the biological and the chosen family. So I don't really know exactly what that term means when you use it, but I do think that the process of coming to who I am as an artist, my family, who is biological, they support and they also want me to thrive, and they hold space for what it is to be an artist and my evolution in that. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if I've experienced hurdles with family, but definitely there has been tons of support. And my parents, who are no longer with us, but they were very strict. I grew up in a Caribbean household. They're very strict about education and obtaining an education. But they knew that creating was something that I needed to do. And they saw that from a very young age, and they fostered that. And I have to say that that's something that I've always held on to. Like, family is important to me. And it just keeps me able to do what I need to do as an artist. And that's why I continue to work. Like, their support has definitely allowed me to just keep going, no matter what. And I actually did a project that kind of spoke to, like, you know, remembering my parents, and I'm still working on some facets of work that deals with family and heritage in my work. And that's what, you know, like, those are some like key components that I want to continue to have as I continue to develop my work. Not sure if that answered the question, but
it definitely did. It definitely did. And then we have 5 minutes left. I wouldn't mind going longer, but I don't want you to run to. Okay, yeah, cool.
Oh, got it.
That makes sense. It's 5:48 on my clock, actually. So I think we have 2 minutes left. Is there anything you wanted to wrap up with, maybe? Anything that comes to mind, or is anything you wanted to share that felt open-ended?
No, I mean, I think we talked a lot about, you know, just being in this space, our, you know, the current situation and how that's impacting our work. And, you know, I'm appreciative. I'm grateful that we were able to, like, have this conversation and be able to talk a little bit more, get a little bit more insight into each other's work. And like, I wouldn't have normally been able to, like, have access to that before, you know, like, unless, you know, this was made available. So I'm glad to, like, be able to be in a space where there are other artists working. That's just definitely inspiring to me.
I'm very appreciative of being able to speak to you today. It was such a pleasure, and I know it won't be the last time. So I'm glad it was able to happen.
Yeah.
And that, guys, you're both great. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. That was absolutely amazing. And I just had to run in the back because that's my childhood one. I think my mom's actually on this, but she'll correct me. I named this after my pediatrician, Dr. Bass. So that was, yeah, that's my childhood favorite toy. So
I'm here.
Hey, Calvin.
I just wanted to give a huge thank you to Jonathan and Patrice for participating in this series with us. I know both of you came in with very short notice, and so it's such a pleasure to have you. And also thank you to Joseph and Shizu, or Shizu.
You got it.
Shizu. And then also Chika and Catherine. It's such a pleasure to have artists here to hear what you're thinking about the island. It's interesting experience for everybody. So it's great to hear from you. Next week, we're gonna be back at 3 Eastern. And that's October 10th. And Jack can read you our lineup.
Yes, October 10th. So we have Sarah Williams from NARS, and Lauren Petty and Sean Irons from Foreheads, and that's from 3 to 3:50. Joseph Morris and Alexandra Goldberg from Harvest Works, and Sam Sundias from Foreheads, that's 4 to 4:50. And we have Jamila McEwen, from Virtual Volcano Observatory, and Elizabeth Damry from Swale from 5 to 5:30. And all of these artists, there's somebody in all of these groupings that we have in common. All of our arts organizations have so many kind of like overrun, like so many branches in common. Like one person that had shown with us maybe 10 years ago is a resident in one of our other organizations. So it's like that. I mean, New York is, there's a lot of artists in New York, but we somehow make a very small community up and overlap quite a bit. So it's nice to see old faces that we know from before.
So I guess that's it. We'll see you all back here on October 10th at 3 Eastern. And a huge shout out and thank you to everybody who's made this possible. Take care.
Oh.